Yes, bienvenidos a todos. I'm Lisa Zazier, the Executive Director of the Virginia Hispanic Foundation, and welcome to the Passport to Success Power Talk series, Breaking Boundaries to Achieve Success, featuring our Emmitt Smith, Billy McMullen, and Bruce Smith, as we've all been talking about, and we're very excited to have everyone here today. And this is an exciting event because the Virginia Hispanic Foundation created the Passport to Education programs, Pasaporte a la Educación initiative back in 2011. And we have continued to serve students, ESL students in the schools in Virginia ever since its inception. And we have a goal to decrease the Hispanic dropout rate. And we also have a goal to engage all students in leadership skill sets. And tonight, we're going to have such a great time hearing these wonderful leaders who've been on the field and off the field showing their leadership skill sets. And we are happy to share this with you tonight. And I would love to now introduce to you Coach Dr. Mark James, and he will be our moderator asking our wonderful panelists tonight some questions that every one of you who has also logged in are really going to take away some inspiring message that's going to motivate you to do your best and break any boundary that you need to within your life.
Good evening. First of all, I hate to keep using the word excited, but I am excited, elated, whatever you want to call it. Let me tell you, I just did about 5 push-ups just so I could get ready for this moment. I won't tell you, Bruce, that I wore your number in college. And when I think about you, my voice gets a little light. So I'm a 300-pounder, right? But just appreciate everybody being on this call. We have a great video that was put together by the Sultan of Video, Mr. Brian Bullock. Take it away.
Bruce Smith is a Virginia native and a former NFL player for the Buffalo Bills and the Washington football team. He is the holder of the league's career record for quarterback sacks with 200. Smith was enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2009, his first year of eligibility. A native of Norfolk, Smith founded Bruce Smith Enterprise, a commercial real estate firm that specializes in the development of premier mixed-use projects. Emmitt Smith III is a former professional football player with the Dallas Cowboys. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion, the league's all-time leading rusher, and a Pro Football Hall of Fame member. Chairman of his namesake company, E. Smith Advisors, Smith used his 12 years of experience as a real estate professional to create a premier real estate solutions and service provider. Billy McMullen is a former Philadelphia Eagle and University of Virginia All-American receiver. McMullen played 5 years in the NFL, winning the 2005 NFC Championship with the Eagles and earning a trip to Super Bowl 39. After his retirement, McMullen became heavily involved in the community, coaching and mentoring youth and people of all ages through his battle cry, Made Free.
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. I absolutely love it. Great job. We're going to get right to it because, as you guys know, time is sensitive and it waits for no one. So we're going to start out with question number 1. And Bruce, we're going directly to you first. Here is the question. Please share your personal story, including the path you followed to success, clues you noticed along the way, and what you were doing or what you have done to help you achieve the success that you have done.
Well, first, let me tell you, I'm honored to be on this Zoom call and to be able to share some of my experiences with our younger people and hopes that we can give them some nuggets that will allow them not to veer off and go astray and do the things that are necessary to stay focused throughout life. And I can comment about the footage that you showed of all of us. you know, the one thing that all three of us have in common, we don't have any hair anymore. So, you know, from my brother, my little brother, Emmitt, I call him E, to Billy, we've had a number of experiences that we've learned from, we've grown from, and it's made us better people, better individuals, human beings. And Nap, I think we've come into our own, and we want to share those experiences with those that are younger than us, to allow them to be able to grow and take these nuggets and implement them to their decision making on a daily basis, that will help them not to get into those pitfalls or those setbacks that can be detrimental sometimes. So, you know, the things that I've learned when I was coming about and growing up in Norfolk, Virginia. I was one of I was the first to go through gentrification in the city of Norfolk in my era, and going through to a inner city school in Norfolk, Virginia, Booker T. Washington High School, right across the street from Norfolk State University. So I got a chance to experience segregation. I was bused from my neighborhood after gentrification took place. I was bused from the neighborhood that we moved to an all-Black school. So the experiences that I was able to have when I was growing up and didn't understand what was going on around me has really made me the person that I am today. And understanding the challenges and the obstacles, and more importantly, the politics that come into play when you start talking about African Americans and generational wealth and even policing and so forth and so on. So I think that this is critical that we're having this discussion, and I'm happy to be here and thank Cordish, Zed and Joe, for putting this together in conjunction with everyone that's on this call. So I don't want to monopolize the time, but there's so much we could talk about, but I hope I've shared a little bit that's on my heart and mind about where I am today versus, you know, when I was coming up as a little kid in Norfolk, Virginia, and seeing all of the things that have taken place right before my very eyes, and realizing and understanding where we are today. Not much has changed. We gotta do better, and it starts with leadership. And I thank you guys for being on this call.
Bruce, awesome. And thank you for giving us a window into your pathway. I always say that the difference between failure and success is the opportunity. And you obviously have taken our opportunity, have done great things with it. One of the toughest guys to ever play for Philly, brother Billy McMullen. I'm going to ask you the same question. Give us your blueprint. What is your blueprint of your pathway that you have taken that has led to your success?
Once again, I appreciate you guys having me on the call. Being with such prestigious folks on this Zoom call, it gets me excited too, because I grew up watching my fellow NFL brothers. Yeah, so I'm a local guy. So my roots started in Gilpin Court, and my father basically worked his tail off to put us in a better position to you know, for the platform for success. And my father wasn't a very vocal guy, but he was a hard worker, and I just used to watch him all the time, just go to work and work hard as possible to get us in a great position. And that mentality sort of stuck with me as just watching him. And I also had a coach in high school that ripped me a new one basically when I was coming up, and he basically gave me this long workout, and I didn't come back to the workout or come back to practice for another 2 weeks. And I came back, and he just looked at me. He's like, "Hey, Mac, where you been?" And I had a bunch of excuses. And he's like, and he shook his head for like 5 or 10 minutes, it felt like. And he said, "Hit the track." And I basically went back and did the exact same workout that he had given me 2 weeks prior. And something triggered in my mind, said, okay, this is how hard you have to work to be successful. And the beauty of it is, once you get into that mode of actually working hard, it becomes addictive. it becomes a part of your nature, a part of your DNA, a part of your makeup. And you get so excited about the goals that you're hitting, small, whether they're small or big. And once you get to the end, you're like, wow, I did all that. I can't believe that. So, my word of thing is basically through my path and through my walks of life, just coming from where my family originated from in terms of the city of Richmond, and then having a way to work my way up to University of Virginia, and then also playing in the league for 5 years. It's all about hard work, but more so than anything, seeing a vision with your hard work. So it was definitely a pleasure to watch my father. It was definitely a pleasure to be around my coach that triggered something different, and I took advantage of it. And now I teach younger generation. This is what it takes. It takes a vision and it takes hard work.
Brother Billy, we appreciate everything that you said. You are definitely the picture of hard work, and I watched you come all the way through the ranks. So we appreciate that. You also mentioned how important is a mentor, how important is a coach. A coach takes somebody somewhere where they can't take themselves. So listen, we appreciate you. Thank you for answering that first question. The next guy, let me get my pocket right. I'm getting ready to come through the hole. Listen, I don't care how many stadiums they build in Dallas. When they say where that star is on the middle of the field, there's only one dude that I think of, one player that I think of. Brother E. Smith, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I appreciate the opportunity, like Bruce said, to be a part of this panel, and I appreciate the young people who are tuning in to actually hear what Bruce has to say, Billy, myself, and others here. To echo on what my two NFL brothers have already mentioned, the things that have helped me is piggybacking off what Billy said, having a vision. I like to look at it this way: begin with the end in mind. Because when I was younger, I saw myself becoming an NFL player, but I also knew that I wasn't going to be an NFL player overnight. I had to work. I had to go through things. I had to put my body through things. I had to be willing to not be denied, and willing to make that personal sacrifice in order to get that done. And you're absolutely correct. It takes a village of people to actually pour into each and every one of us to continue us on that pathway to get to where we're trying to go. And the beautiful thing about beginning with the end in mind is, the people that are helping you get to the end versus those who are not. So it's easier to shed folks that's not pushing you towards that vision. When someone is trying to steer you away from that vision. So the people that we think are friends, we know who they truly are if they're pushing you towards that vision. If they're not, and distracting you from going to where you're trying to go, or helping you trying to get there, or challenging you and pushing you and reminding you why you're doing the things you're doing, then they're not on your team. And so my mom always told me this. She said, son, I'll never forget it. One day I was sitting on the counter doing homework, and I was struggling. And I said, I can't get this. My mother told me, son, I don't want to ever hear you use the word I can't. You can do whatever you want to do if you set your mind, heart, and soul to it. Now, everything that we do as human beings include the mind, body, and soul. Everything we've done in football has included the mind, body, and soul. Everything that anyone is going to do is going to have a mind, body, and soul component tied to it. You have to put it all together and push it towards the one thing that's driving you, the thing to get away from something and change something, or change the trajectory of where you're coming from. There's always something motivating each and every one of us to do something. And what I appreciate about the journey that we all have been on, we've all learned something from somebody. No one becomes successful by themselves. It takes truly a village, whether it's a coach, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a mom or dad or cousin, or somebody else's mom and dad. It takes somebody to keep us all focused in terms of constantly reminding us of what you're doing and why you're doing it, but also giving us an opportunity to have a glimpse in some things that we're not even necessarily thinking about, but we may have an interest in. We just don't know how it's going to manifest itself today, because manifestation doesn't necessarily happen right away. It comes down the road when you've been putting in all this work in certain things, and doors are starting to open up, and you pique in this interest. You're like, oh, I've seen this before. How does this work? Curiosity. Remain curious, because curiosity will keep you growing, keep you expanding your mind, keep you not being complacent at where you are. And one of the things that I've always appreciated about my career is that I was never satisfied with where I was at. I was always striving to be the best version of myself, knowing that excellence and excellence is somewhat unattainable, but you can always strive for it. You can always strive for excellence. But anytime you get to that place, guess what? There's always another level above it. So you're always pushing the envelope. And goal setting has been part of my whole entire career. And I would suggest that every person, little young person that's sitting out there listening at us right now, jot down your goals, create your vision board, create the environment that you want to have for you to be successful. And it begins by seeing it first, believing that it's attainable, and going out there and not being denied.
Brother E. Smith, I appreciate it. Nick, I'm going to go to question number 2 just for the interest of time, because I know Brother Bruce has to go soon.
Absolutely.
All right, so Brother E. Smith, I'm going to come right back to you. I remember that commercial, right, where you were bench pressing, and then in your mind, you're saying one more rep. I want to talk about the challenge. I want to talk about the challenge that everybody faces, but as an athlete that you face, when you had to question yourself, could you do it? And you had to go above the fears of not understanding the unknown. Brother E. Smith, give us the secret of that one more rep. Tell us what it takes to do that one more rep, that one more push.
Well, I think the thing that really drives us all in terms of athletes is when you're in a situation where it requires for you to go further than you ever thought you can ever go. I experienced it. I know Bruce have, and I know Billy has as well as a football player in sports. And that is when you're injured and you're not at your very best, but yet you still have to perform at the optimal level. It requires a mental toughness. It requires a certain level of spiritual belief that you will be okay. And I experienced that in my young career against the Giants when I hurt my shoulder, and knowing that what was on the other side. And what was on the other side was for us to have an opportunity to not only have home field advantage throughout the playoff, which Bruce understands this is extremely important in order for the path to get to the Super Bowl. And I had a separated shoulder, and I ended up playing 2.5 quarters with it. Beautiful thing about it, if there was such a beautiful thing, I had my legs. And when you got your legs, every person on this screen and everyone listening to my voice can run scared. And that's all I was doing, was running scared, trying to avoid and miss everybody on the football field. But beyond running scared, I was doing something that was bigger than me. I was playing for the other guys that was on that football field. And when you come back to that huddle and you know that you all have put in that work, and you look in your teammates in the eyes, and they're relying on you, and you're relying on them. And there's a certain thing that says, I cannot quit. I would not be denied. They need me. I will make this personal sacrifice for them. And God, get me through it. If I can get on the other side of this, we'll be okay. And a beautiful thing happened when you start putting in that extra effort, and they start to see that. They know that you won't quit, and they're not going to allow others to hurt you any further. And so taking on that mindset, knowing that this is bigger than just you, and where we are today, everything that Bruce is doing, everything that Billy is doing, everything that I'm doing is bigger than just me. We're representing an entire race. We're representing an entire generation. And how we do that, the way we go about doing that, is extremely important for others to see and follow. In order for someone to know that they got a pathway to success, they need to see others like us being successful, well beyond what we've done on the football field. And so it's important for us to not only carry that mantle, but to create opportunities for young people like yourselves to follow. Yes, we had a disappointment today. Yes, we did. I've lost games before, but as Bruce know, we got to have a short-term memory. We're gonna soak this in for 24, and it's gone tomorrow, and we're gonna get ready for the next opportunity. And so, but the one thing that I can say is this: that personal drive is something that you have to have. No one is gonna give it to you. You're gonna have to learn how to develop it on your own.
Thank you, Brother Smith. Brother Billy, same thing. You're sitting on that bench, that quad is hurting. It's 20 degrees in Philly, but you know they need you. What do you do, Brother Billy?
You know, it's that one more rep mentality. I think it's just like Emmitt says, it's a mixture of things. It's a mixture of being so engulfed in your craft that you first of all, you don't want to let yourself down. You feel like I can give it one more. I can do one more rep. I can do one more. You know, and then you look at your teammates' eyes, like you said, like, hey, I got your back, man. I'll take care of this. I'll never forget, and this is back in college, when we played the University of Maryland Terrapins, my first year. I'm a skinny kid, scrawny kid. I didn't know what I was doing out there, man. I didn't know I was playing actually. But coach kept coming to me and I was catching the ball. And we were on the last, I would say the last drive of the game. And the quarterback threw the ball and it sort of short hop. I could have got it, but I didn't get underneath it good. And I went back to the bench, man, and I said, man, this is over. It's over. That was it. That was the last part of the drive. And I don't know what it was. I'm a very spiritual man, but I felt this thing come over me like, yo, it's not over. And so I just charged up. I was like, okay, we're going to get another opportunity. When we get another opportunity, I'm going to make good on this. And so they had a turnover. We back on the field and we're driving, we're marching. And once again, your mind is so engulfed in like, I got to get one more chance. I'm going to make it happen. They threw me a ball in the corner. I caught it 1 foot in. And it was like the movie was over. And I was like, wow, we really did it. So basically what I'm saying is like, when you're so far gone into your craft, so far gone into your mission and your vision, and so far gone into proving people wrong and proving yourself right and taking care of your teammates in whatever field you're in, whether it's science or tech or you're an entrepreneur, when you're trying to prove yourself right and take care of your team and just love your craft, you're going to always want to get that last rep. You're going to always want to do a little extra. That's just the way it works. And that's the beauty about our mind, like Emmitt said, you always, is another level you just hadn't touched. And when you touch that next level, it's like, wow, I got so much more left. And then you get to that level, and like you just want to take it up another. So that's the wonderful thing about a mind of an athlete. And I think we all somewhat have a mind of an athlete that, hey, we can just get one more for me and my team.
I appreciate that, Billy. Bruce, I'm gonna tell you something. I never played in Buffalo, but I coached the game, and it was so cold. I prayed every quarter for my players that were playing. So you can definitely tell us a little bit about being able to overcome those adversities that you faced in life. What's your secret sauce to that?
Well, I don't know if there's necessarily any secret sauce. I think Billy and Emmitt hit on a number of different points. But watching the struggles of my parents growing up, my father and mother working for minimum wage, $2.35 an hour when I was growing up, trying to make ends meet, working from sun up to sundown. My mother working in a plastic factory. My father driving a truck for this company that hauled dirt around. And him coming home filled with dirt, covered in dirt every day, and still having the energy to take me to baseball or football practice or basketball practice. And my mother coming home and cooking a home cooked meal, making sure that we were fed and it felt like home. So the things that really were instilled in me were work ethics. My parents hated what they did for a living, but they knew they had to provide for their kids. And when I saw that work ethic and their mentality of never complaining, but making sure that they were doing the necessary things to show what a real man looked like in the family and to show what a mother looked like in the family, and making sure that we had those meals together, and we didn't go without. We didn't have everything we wanted, but we didn't go without. And those are the things that help create this man that you see before you right now. And as I grew up in different stages, I left home and went to college and so forth. Things just started to hit me about the lessons that I was taught with my parents. And I would take bits and pieces of information from everyone that I met, particularly when there was a story of success and there's a story of failure, because you can learn a lot from a story of someone that failed. And if you're wise, you'll look at both of those instances and you'll take bits and pieces of that information and apply it to yourself and make decisions on a day-to-day basis that will be productive in your life. So, man, this is real, man. The journey, and Emmitt referred to it. This journey is real, man, and you're going to have some ups and some downs. Hell, I lost 4 straight Super Bowls. You think that stopped me? That did not stop me. This was just a stepping stone to something greater. Me being a better person, me being a better man, me understanding that I'm not going to play football forever. What's next? And what's next is going to be greater than what was in the past. So that's what I'm working on. So for the young folks out here today that are engulfed in social media, engulfed in other activities that may not be quite as productive as you think they are, change course a little bit. Start getting some advice from some older folks that have your best interests at heart, because your best interest at heart is not on social media. I can guarantee you that. And I just want to make sure that we're giving you a sense of direction and giving you some advice that you will take heed to and try and apply something that Emmitt said. Try and apply something to your day-to-day decisions that Billy is saying, and try to think outside of the box and say, how can I make myself plan for a better future and make better decisions and surround myself with better people. Those are the things that you want to focus on right now, because the decisions that you make today will affect your life 20, 30 years from now.
Bruce, I really thank you for saying that. And I'm going to come back to you with the next question. It's going to take somewhat of a serious turn. I'm going to talk a little bit about mental health and mental health illness. And as we know, it is rampant throughout this country, especially with our young people. It doesn't really get addressed. I want to use the word fear. Many times we have fears in our life, okay? And different fears affect our life and our daily living. And we understand that vicarious trauma, with a lot of things that the young people go through, leave different layers. I call it urban stains upon them. Tell us a little bit, if you can, to share a little bit about how serious do you think it is about our young people being able to get help if there's things that are just not right in their life, and things, maybe you could share something that that you might have faced, if you don't mind, that might be able to encourage some of these young people that it's okay. I love what you just said about pathway. It's okay. It's just a redirection. Talk to us, Bruce.
Yeah, well, mental health. I don't have a great deal of experience with the battles of mental health. I've had some friends that have struggled with it, but when we were growing up, there wasn't a tremendous amount of focus on mental health. They would just say, "Oh, he's off," or something's wrong with him, or whatever it happens to be. But mental health is real. You see the struggles. You see folks that end up committing suicide or doing things that are very harmful to others. And I would just suggest that anyone that has a friend, or you suspect someone that has mental health issues, talk to someone about it. try and get them the help that they need to get them in a safe space, because it's critical for that individual, for that family's individual, and for those who are friends with that individual, because we don't want to see not one more person lose their life, or something dramatic happens to a person that's suffering from mental health. It really has a space within our society that needs to be focused on intently right now, and with purpose, to make sure that we are putting as much resources as we possibly can to help those that are struggling with mental health.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you for sharing so candidly. Billy, do you have anything to add on that? Brother Billy, you're muted.
Forgive me, guys. Yeah, it's a really serious topic, and I look at, mental health, and not all cases, but I think a lot of cases is, I would say, it's like an identity crisis. And what I mean by that is, a lot of us have gone through scars in our life, whether from a young age to a teenage or older adults, and we internalize those scars, and we call that scar ourselves. We say, hey, what happened to me, that's me now. Or what I did to someone, that's me now. And I beg to differ. I say, a counselor or somebody who has your best interest in mind will be able to tell you, like, hey, that is just a part of your story. That's not your full story. You are your full story. Like we're sharing right now, we have the ability to recreate our story and change the path. And sometimes it's very hard to do that on your own. So like Bruce was saying, you may need someone to talk to, just to hear yourself talk, or just to realize that that did happen, or that happened, or just the way I'm thinking, it may not be the healthiest way of thinking. Sometimes just hearing yourself speak on it. So like I said, it's somewhat of an identity crisis, because you're internalizing what has happened to you or what has happened around you as yourself. But no, you have the ability with that great vision to create a whole new path for yourself. And if you can't see it on your own, that's why we have people that are professionals, and sometimes they're not professionals, just to hear you speak and talk on it, and maybe set you on that right pathway and let you know that your future is totally brighter than that past, or that scar that you're carrying around, and you can heal from it. And so when I look at mental health, that's the way I look at it. That is a pathway out, but it has to be a voice and a different way of looking at yourself.
Thank you, Billy. Brother E. Smith?
Yeah, like Bruce, I'm not an expert on mental health in terms of being able to advise people what to do, but I can say this, it is very much on the line of where Billy was going and have gone. It is the story that we tell ourselves. We're always telling ourselves that we're less than, and where we get that from is through the voices of others telling us that we're not this. We're not Black enough. We're not white enough. We're not this. We're not that. Society is dumping up on us. We're not cute enough. You got to look like this. You got to weigh this much. You got to lift this much. All this stuff. We've been told that pretty much our whole lives. Been told that we won't amount to anything. And so, from the stigma of hearing what goes in, it's the garbage that comes in, and it's the garbage that we attach ourselves to that really have us feeling inferior, have us feeling less than, not worthy of, and all these other things. So it's the stories that we tell ourselves. And oftentimes when we find ourselves in dark moments, we don't see the light in the dark moments. I like to tell people, find that speck of a light in every dark moment. Walk towards it. Don't walk away from it. Walk towards it. Because the closer you get to that light, the brighter that light starts to shine, and the more you come out of darkness. And it's not easy, but oftentimes people are looking for someone to talk to. Be a listening ear, not a problem solver. Be a listening ear to hear someone and draw more questions out. So getting it out, because if we internalize so much, which we do, All of us do. We internalize so many things, and just having an outlet to release it is one form of just getting things out and letting it flow into the wind. What I do today for myself and for my own mental health, if you will, I try to meditate every morning, at least 10 to 15 minutes on top of a workout. Then I try to go spiritual and pray. Then I read a little bit from a scripture standpoint, just so I can feed my soul and remind myself. Again, I said it's the stories we tell ourselves. Remind myself that I'm here for a purpose. And I have a mission. And my mission is bigger than me. Regardless of how I feel today, I got 5 kids that I got to look in the eyes. I got brothers and sisters. I got people that are counting on me. And if you need motivation, look beyond oneself. Because when you start looking at oneself so intently, oftentimes we lose sight of who we are because we start seeing the things that we're not versus the things that we truly are. So when you take inventory of who you are as a person, try to find the positive things and work on the negative things. Because the day you're here, as long as you're going through, you're going to be on the other side of it. You got to continue to go through, not backwards. I've never seen a person drive a car forward looking backwards. So your past is your past, but your future is what you make of it. And it's up to you to create the future that you want. And so find somebody to share. Share your heart, share your mind, share your thoughts, and your story. It is your story. It's no one else's. And no one can question your story.
Brother E. Smith, I almost gave you an offering that was so deep. I appreciate you. You're absolutely right. The windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. What's in front of you means a lot more than what's behind you. Sometimes a lot of people use the weight that's behind them to hold them back from what's in front of them. Brother Bruce, I'm coming to you. This is a very, very important question. You know, there are some student athletes that are on the call or that will listen to the call. You hear it in the media all the time. And you guys are always under continuous scrutiny about making mistakes. And we spoke a little bit about it about 10 minutes ago, but I want to concentrate on this. Making mistakes as a professional and what happens from there, right? So I want you guys to give us a little bit of advice because we all make mistakes. We're something called humans, right? Give us a little advice about when we do make mistakes, not if we do, when we do make mistakes, how do we rebound from that, Brother Bruce?
Well, we are imperfect people.
No doubt.
Yeah, and Lord knows I've made my fair share of mistakes. Learn from them. Life is a struggle, but in that struggle and in that adversity, it builds character. If you're wise, you'll learn from those mistakes. You'll become a better person. You'll make better decisions. Your pathway will become a little bit smoother. Instead of being on that gravel road, you'll be on a paved road because you've understood the gravity of some of those mistakes, and you'll become a wiser person. So that's why it's so important to have mentors in your life. You know, I read the newspaper a lot, and I see some of the biggest mistakes that young folks make in this generation and so forth is it is social media, putting all of your business out for the whole public domain to see and comment on, and your whereabouts and the decisions. I was reading the other day, and I think Dave Chappelle was on a late night talk show, and they were asking him about social media, and he said they asked him, why aren't you on social media? And Dave Chappelle said, why would I put all of my thoughts, write all of my thoughts down on a bathroom wall? You know what? Why? There is no purpose for that. You're just going to cause more problems. So for me, I continue to try and grow and learn. I have it's written, a wise man seeks wise counsel. I still have older men that are in my life that are 70 and 80 that I go to and I consult. I talk to. I try and get advice on decisions that I should make, or just about where they are in their life, and me hoping to reach that point, and still making wise decisions, and being fruitful in all those decision makings abilities. So I just think it's critical that our younger people understand the moment, and the moment that they live in, and all the distractions that are right before their very eyes, and they don't have to take a bite out of that apple. It's your decision. It's your choice. You can, once again, take that road where it's paved. You can listen to mentors and folks that truly care about you, or you could take that road off to the right. It's got a bunch of gravel on it. It's going to lead to a dirt road, and then it's going to fall off on a cliff. So, for me, I just, that's the reason why I'm on this call. And again, I appreciate Cordish, Zed, and Joe for putting this together, and you, Doc. It is truly a blessing to be able to have a voice in this platform, to be able to share some of my experiences and knowledge with you folks. So if you can take anything, one nugget from me, one nugget from Billy, one nugget from E, you're going to be in a much better place tomorrow. Apply those lessons to your day-to-day decision making, and I guarantee you things will start to change for you.
Seeds of wisdom. Please listen. Brother Billy.
So mistakes, the way I look at them is you got to embrace them first. Like embrace them. I'm not saying accept your mistakes, but embrace them. It's almost like saying, I fumbled the ball, and then on that Monday morning when we look at film, you act like it didn't happen. That's not embracing it, because if you don't embrace your mistakes, there's no way possible you can learn from them. So just like with feelings, a feeling of fear, a feeling of joy, a feeling of anxiousness, embrace those feelings. Those are real feelings, right? And normally before you make a mistake, it comes after either bad counsel, like Bruce was saying, or you sometimes even wise counsel, you just go in the other direction. And then these feelings come over you and you want to heed to the feelings, because either I didn't like the fear, I didn't like the excitement, whatever it is. But all I'm saying is just embrace those mistakes. Really analyze your mental, where I was when I made that mistake, analyze the people who gave me the advice, analyze all of that. Why did I do this? And then from the next step, you'll be able to make a better decision. Here's the thing about if you don't embrace those mistakes, you'll find yourself a year later doing this exact same thing, 2 years later doing the exact same thing. I know if I go back to where I grew up, a lot of people are still sitting on the corner because they're doing the same thing over and over again. You're stuck. Matter of fact, they're not doing the same thing, they're doing it worse. So if you don't really analyze your mistakes, there's no way possible you can learn from them. Really analyze yourself on a daily basis. I think Emmitt said it best. He said he meditates every day. That meditation has a lot to do with just clearing your mind and understanding how you feel and how you view the world and how you view yourself in the world. Because if you don't understand how you view yourself in the world, you'll be making the same mistake over and over and over again. So embrace it, analyze it, ball it up in a piece of paper, and then take the next step.
I love it. Embrace your mistake. Be a better person. Don't be ignorant and keep making the same mistake and asking what's going on. I love that, Billy. Brother E. Smith.
I'm just going to use one big word: responsibility.
Mm.
Responsibility for your actions. And don't place blame in other places because you made a decision. There's always going to be a decision, there's going to be a choice, and there are going to be consequences. The question is, what decisions are you making? What choices are you making? And what are the consequences from those things? And at the end of the day, it is your responsibility. Oftentimes, and Bruce said it best, one thing about social media is most people are on social media just to gain likes. What are you going to do with a like? Most people don't even really know who you are. And most of the things that you do see are not real anyway. It's just for the moment. That moment. We are capturing snapshots of people's lives within that moment and making decisions based off of what we're seeing in that moment. Anybody can dress up, look cute, look sexy, look whatever you want to call it, be smart today, but it's behind it. What's behind it? Where's the consistency in life? Where is the work ethic that we talked about earlier? Where is the character of the individual when no one is looking? Where are the things that are truly pillars to success to that person outside of what I'm seeing? Because I'm gonna show you some joyous moment, but you're never gonna see me probably in my bedroom crying. If you do, you got one good sneak peek at the real side of who I am at that particular moment. And you might not even know what I'm crying about. I could be crying about my daughter graduating today from Texas A&M. It could be tears of joy. But the point is, you never know where a person is at. Right now I'm polished, and I could be walking around with some bad stuff in the back of my head right now that could be weighing me down, that you might not even know. And I'm still giving you the best of me right now. But you didn't get all of me because I didn't show you the backside of me. But the reality is, embrace your struggles. Don't accept them, but embrace them. But take responsibility for your shortcomings. We all have dealt with issues, and we'll continue to deal with issues as long as we are breathing on this planet. If it ain't my issues, it's gonna be an issue of one of my kids. And if it ain't one of their issues, it's gonna be an issue of this person that I may be close to. It could be a brother or sister. And in the business that we're in, it could be an issue on the job. But the thing that we have to do is accept our responsible role in that process and take ownership in it, get it corrected, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and do what? Move forward.
Thank you, Brother E. Thank you, Brother E. This will be the last question from me. Then I'm going to turn it over to Nick, and he's going to get some questions from everybody that's out there that is watching. That you guys are just filling them up with these nuggets. Brother Bruce, I'm coming to you. You know, I remember in 1993 in the Liberty Bowl. You know, as a kid growing up in Florida, I tried to pattern my game after Bruce Smith. Even had the number 78. Now, let me tell you what happened when I was in that game. A brother named Tony Boselli, 6'9", and I don't know what was in his body and what was in his strength, put his hand on me real good. And the next time I woke up, I was on the sideline. So I want to tell you, every kid straps up their shoes, right? Every kid straps up their shoes and puts those cleats on and those shoulder pads in their helmets. And they think, okay, I'm gonna run like Emmitt. They think I'm gonna catch like Billy. They think I'm gonna be the Sultan of SWAT like Bruce Smith. I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna be able to go power. I'm gonna be able to push the power, and be able to just move offensive linemen out the way and get to the quarterback. There's a level of reality that I like to call, you know, the scope of tunnel vision that a lot of our young people have. A lot of our young student athletes, and even if they don't play sports, many people have that tunnel vision of being a rapper, of being things that they idolize. I want you guys to speak to their spirit, these young people's spirit, about the importance of not having tunnel vision, the importance of, you know what, I wanted to be Bruce Smith, but once I realized that I wasn't Bruce Smith, I became the best Mark James that I could be. So Bruce, tell me something. How important is it for our young people to not have tunnel vision?
Well, I think it has a great deal of merit to be focused and to set goals high and to prepare to attain those goals. You have to have that work ethic, mentally, physically, and all the preparation that goes into it. But let me tell you something. Football ain't for everybody. You know, let's just keep it real. Football, basketball, baseball, everybody can't do this. You know, that's why there's 1,600 players a year in the National Football League. That's why there's only 370 players in the Pro Football Hall of Fame out of the last 101 or 2 years of the league's existence. That's less than 1%. So you have to, at some point in time, have a dose of reality. You put everything in to your craft, your art, your trade that you possibly can, but don't neglect something else you might be good at as well. You could be a scholar. You could be someone that plays an instrument extremely well. So try different things out. Don't just be focused on saying, and here we go with that television. Don't just be so fixated on just sports, because Lord knows I never knew that I was going to be in a position that I was in when I first went on this journey. And as I got a little bit older, I started understanding you can't cheat the process. The process is going to unfold right before your very eyes. Are you committed to the process? Are you doing everything you possibly can to give yourself the best chance at being a Emmitt Smith or a Bruce Smith or a Billy or whomever it happens to be? So I would like for these young folks to become well-rounded. Man, I wish I could play an instrument right now. I wish I could speak a second language. I wish I could do just have something that somebody else just doesn't have. I'm stuck with being the all-time sack leader. Obviously, I'm in the world of real estate development, and I've been very successful with that. But that one of the things that I learned midway through my career, my 10th year in the league, I started understanding I'm not going to be able to do this for the rest of my life. So I started spending my off seasons while I was playing professional football at a real estate development company with a dear friend of mine. I would spend my off seasons in their office, in their headquarters, in meetings, studying how deals were put together, not just investing, but learning, asking questions. And I came after I did a couple of these deals, and they gave me a few checks. I had become I was hungry for more knowledge and understanding how the deal was put together, and trying to find a pathway after I finished playing ball that I would be able to transition smoothly to another business. And that's why I'm sitting here today. So that's my advice. Just don't be fixated on one thing. You're too young. God has blessed you with so many talents, and it's up to you to explore those talents and find out what you are truly good at. And that's the fun part. It's called the process. Don't cheat it. Embrace it. Enjoy the journey. And I guarantee you, again, you're going to be in a much better place when you start understanding some of the nuggets we're trying to pass on to you and your decision making, how it's going to affect your life on a day-to-day basis. And 10, 20 years from now, you're going to say, you know what? I tuned in when Emmitt and Billy and Cordish and some of the other folks gave me some advice, and it really hit home.
Thank you, Bruce. TTP, trust the Process.
process.
Brother Billy, talk to us.
Yeah, so I have an opportunity to teach a lot of guys that are coming up in the ranks to go to college and high school, and I'm always preaching, just like Bruce said, that it's cool to want to get to the next level, but everybody's not going to get to the next level. Everybody's not skilled enough to get there. Even with that said, I'm like, you got to be well-rounded. I said, more people know your name right now than you think know your name. It's time to start understanding how to network. And when you network, when you're having these conversations, people will see more than just a football player, more than a basketball player, so on and so forth. They see you as an individual. They see you more value than just being on the football field. Now, it gets you in the door, but once you start having these conversations, you'll start understanding that, hey, I may be really good at this, or I may be really good at that. It's just like going to school or looking to graduate. That's the goal, but you have several classes. Like you have 5 or 6 different classes. It's your job to get in all those classes and learn as much as you can to reach the goal. So if you're reaching for an opportunity to go to the next level in sports, like I said, well, everybody probably won't get there, but still reach for it. Make sure you're taking all your classes, because all those classes, when you look back, I'm the youngest of the group, but when you look back, you're like, I'm well-rounded. I had an opportunity to do that. I had an opportunity to do that. I had an opportunity to meet them. And I tell you, and I know Bruce can say it and Emmitt can say it, it's something about being able to play a sport. It's like you're a gladiator. So you can knock on the door and they'll be like, oh, come in. I remember you made that big catch. It was wonderful. Now we can sit down and have a great conversation, and I can learn a lot from you, and you can learn a lot from me, and we can grow together. It's a wonderful thing to have a great network and great relationships. This game is all about relationships. So become well-rounded, take all of your classes, stay focused on the goal, but make sure you go to all the classes.
Brother Billy, we appreciate those words of wisdom, but I just want you to know, in the central VA area, we are so proud of you and proud of your work ethic that you have shown a lot of these young people and continue to care. Bishop E. Smith, let's hear from you.
Bishop.
Oh man, I tell you, the word that's ringing in my ears right now is diversify. Diversify. And when I think about Billy and I think about Bruce and I think about myself, as a running back, I could have just focused on just running the football, not become a pass blocker, not become a wide receiver. Billy could have focused on one position, but I promise you, they probably had him in the slot. They probably had him out wide, and they probably had him doing some other things. And every position requires a little bit of something, even though it's similar, but it may require a little something different. Bruce not only was on one side of the right side, but he also flipped on the left side. But mainly he focused on, they put him on the weakest link of the offense, so he can have a pathway to that quarterback. So he diversified himself as a defensive player. Billy diversified himself as a wide receiver. I diversified myself as a running back, so I can be on the football field, not only on first, second, but also third down. And durability and consistency will keep you there for a long period of time. When you think about what we do today, Cordish itself, they don't just do hotels. They do a whole lot of things. They don't just do casinos. They do a whole lot of different developments, because they're diversified in their portfolio, just like everyone else does a little bit more. And when you invest in money, when you get to a lot of money, it's a diversified portfolio, whether it's stocks, bonds, immunities, et cetera, et cetera. Then you have alternative investments. So diversification is really what we're talking about. And being diversified, all you're doing is expanding your mind. So tunnel vision is never one of those things.
Never good.
Focus on. You should expand your horizons, because if you just stay right there, and Billy talked about it right now, if you go back to his hood, you're gonna see some of the same old folks on that corner doing worse. Because you know what? They had tunnel vision. They could not see outside of their 4-corner block. Mm-hmm. It's the people that wanted to go further, that went outside of the 4-corner block, that ran into a guy like Joe or Bruce, and that poured into them, that kept them rising and wanting and thirsting for more and diversifying themselves so they can get more knowledge. So every young person, I would say this: if you're the smartest in your circle, you need to blow up your circle. You need to blow it up, because you need to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, that have been in different places than you are. Because if your circle is the same circle and y'all have no more knowledge than your four corner block, y'all are just sharing a four corner block of knowledge. That's it. But the minute you get outside your four corner block, now you have 2 block radius, 3 block radius, and 3 block knowledge. And what you will find when you have 3 block radius and 3 block knowledge, when you come back, they want you to stay in that 1 block. And you don't fit no more. And you have change. And that's a great thing. You are supposed to change. Change is scary to a lot of people. So in order for you to grow, you must change. So tunnel vision is not even an option. It's just not. But focus is. Focus on where you're going. And as long as your vision is broad enough and you're able to apply that focus into areas of your life that is meaningful, not only to you, but also I'm gonna say this. Once you break through those barriers of those 4 corner walls and you learn a lot, never, ever, ever, ever forget where you come from. Give back to your community. Give back to others. Spread the knowledge that you have, because the wisdom that you have is not there for you alone. What good is it for you to have this wisdom and die with it? You must share this knowledge with other people.
Preach, Bishop.
Working with Cordish, working with Bruce, working with Billy, and being here with you guys right now, it's been a joy, because I get to learn from one of the best at what Cordish does. That's one reason why we aligned ourselves with them, is because it gives us young people an opportunity to learn from folks that's doing things and have done things greater than or bigger than what we've done thus far. And so that's one reason why Bruce and I aligned myself with Cordish to do what we went after in terms of trying to bring the casino right there to Richmond. I can promise you this, the other group can't deliver to you what we have delivered to you today. They don't have this kind of experience. They got a different type of experience. And that experience does not touch home the way we are touching you right now. We're giving you transformative things, and we think differently, but we think holistically. And just because we think differently don't mean that we think that we're better. We just think holistically because our world and our life experiences has taught us a lot. And that's what we're sharing with you right now today. So it is our hope, like Bruce said, that you grab a nugget here, you grab a nugget there, you grab a nugget here, and you apply it somewhere in your life to help you go on. Because 10, 15 years from now, you can never, ever say no one gave you wisdom. Because if you're in this room tonight, you got wisdom, you got knowledge from 3 people that have went from playing football. Now we're doing things in business, which is showing diversification and showing expansion and taking advantage of the platform that we were able to build over the years and the hard work that it took for us to get to this place. But success is not reserved just for us. It's there for you. But you got to expand your mind. You cannot think the way mom and daddy thought. You cannot think the way your local community think. You got to be able to go out and think for yourself and learn and grow and expand your mind.
Amen.
Well said, brother.
Bishop.
Gentlemen, I gotta take off. I've got some dinner reservations. Thank you guys, man. It's been truly a pleasure and an honor. I'll certainly hit you up, but thank you for this opportunity to share this moment with you guys, and hopefully we can do it again at some point in time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias, Bruce. We appreciate
you so much.
You.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, take care. Okay, Zed.
At this time, I'm going to turn it over to the maestro, Nick. Nick, take it away.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for all these inspirational stories. The students that are here today, I'm sure that you guys are taking away so much from this. I know we are, run a little bit on time, so I wanted to ask 3 questions really quick that we have in the chat from the students. We have some young scholars joining us from TC Bouchal Middle School right now. We have Jose, Kesey, Luis, Michael, Jalsu, Ty, and Luz. They came up with some great questions. So I'm going to direct this one to Mr. Emmitt Smith, because I know we just were touching on this a little bit. Emmitt, thinking back on coaches that you have had both on and off the field, who has made the largest impact on who you are now and why?
Wow. The largest impact. You know, if it takes a village to raise a child, that impact is that whole entire village, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Because everyone has given me a pillar to the foundation which I stand upon. Coaches, parents, et cetera, et cetera. Professionally, transitioning from the game, people that I look to and turn to help me transition from the game, like a guy like Magic Johnson. I mean, come on now. Michael Jordan, Roger Staubach, my owner, Jerry Jones. These are folks that, you know, I had access to. And there's many others that I've had access to. But I took the time to reach out to these guys to understand or to get knowledge in terms of where I was going. Not where I was at, where I was going. Because Magic had already retired. Jordan had already retired. Roger Staubach, long time retired. But they all were successful in their own right in business at the time. And so I wanted to understand what life after football could be like, look like, feel like. And like Bruce said, I wanted to spend my off season understanding what I needed to learn. So when my time came to retire, I was well prepared to transition into the next phase of my life. So to say one person, I would be doing everyone that I've learned from injustice, because we all are a product of a group of people that have poured into us. And every bit of information that we receive has been the best information for the time that we were in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And I think this one is actually going to be kind of directed to both of you guys, both of you, also college athletes. But, having to do that and having to balance those sports and education, how did you balance your education while playing football at the same time and remaining on that high caliber level that you both did?
Well, the biggest thing was, like Emmitt said, support. The village got to raise you up, and UVA, they did a good job of supporting with mentors and having a set schedule for us. And, we were just trying to find the best balance of the social life, your football life, and then also your education life. So it gets back to having a very focused mind, but at the same time having that supporting cast to say, hey, you need to stick on this, you need to do this, you need to make sure you get this. And so, especially being a young man, that was the biggest piece of having that supporting cast.
That supporting cast became tutors, it became study hall, it became working with teammates that was in classes with you. All those things became very, very important to having that support system to help you get through it. As college athletes, yes, we have a tight schedule and we have an arduous schedule. There's a lot of demand there, but that's not an excuse to be cutting corners. To be honest with you, I would just challenge every student athlete right now, take classes, no disrespect to social workers at all, but you didn't go to college to be a social worker. You went to college to master your athletic ability with the hopes of going somewhere to achieve higher financial freedom. So do things that can parallel those two. In other words, learn something that takes you out of just the day-to-day routine or meets your goals either way it goes. Let me put it to you that way. Because you aspire for a level of greatness in sports. Why would you not aspire for a level of greatness out of sports?
Absolutely. And we have also, some time, we have 3 high school students that are from Cristo Rey High School right now, located in Richmond, Virginia. We have Brian Hernandez, Alan Pacheco, and Tyshawn Lewis. What they're asking right now, and I think this is something that you guys are dealing with all the time, of course, from individuals and fans watching you, but more importantly, the people that are very important in your life. Did you ever doubt yourself or have people in your close circles doubt you? And how did you mentally kind of deal with that and still strive forward with those individuals doubting you?
Or, I can speak to that. I don't think you're human unless you experience some type of doubt moving through your process. I think Bruce was talking about the process, embracing the process. As you come up the ranks, and whatever sports you're doing, or whether you're looking at from an academic standpoint, there's always going to be some type of doubt. But I think there should be something within you that you always want to prove yourself right. Energy is energy. You're going to get negative energy. You're going to get positive energy. You're going to get a lot of energy, whatever you're trying to pursue in life. I always say, take that energy, both parts of the energy, put it in you, and spit it out with something positive for yourself. And that's doubt, that's negative words, that's whatever that's surrounding yourself. And I tell you what, once you take that energy and create something positive from it, it's almost like a rocket booster. Yeah, okay, so you doubted me. I needed that today. I appreciate it. Okay, Billy, you doubted yourself today? Well, I needed that too. Let's keep it moving. And so, yes, you will experience that, but take it and flip it and make a nice little apple pie, which is my favorite pie. Make a nice little apple pie and take a slice out and eat it and get your rocket booster for that day. So yeah, that's the way you do it.
I wouldn't disagree at all because I'm sure Billy, I was always told that I was not big enough, not fast enough, or strong enough to even play in the National Football League. And, and the only thing I could do, I asked myself the question, why are they saying these things about me? I mean, they never haven't been given a chance to even play yet. And they're saying that I won't do this. And the one thing I had to do is to go and check my inventory. My inventory of my career, I went all the way back to Pop Warner, all the way back to high school, all the way back through college. And I saw a trail of success. I mean, when I was 10 years old, I had to play with 11 and 12-year-old guys. And when I was on the football field playing with 11 and 12-year-old guys, people were asking, who was that kid? Oh, it's a 10-year-old kid out there playing with 11, 12-year-olds playing like that. It meant something. It meant something. And as a freshman in high school, I started on varsity for 4 years. And then when I went to the University of Florida in the SEC, I started as a true freshman for 3 years. So when I'm getting ready to go to the pros and knowing that I did not have all the things that other teams had, quarterback, wide receiver, and everything else to help make things a little bit lighter, and they were still saying these things about me. Gatorade National Football Player of the Year out of the state of Florida, still saying these things about me. I'm like, what else can a brother do? Today, they still saying I'm not the best. So what else can a brother do? You know what I've learned? That's not my problem. That's their problem. I've done what I needed to do. They got an issue, not me. Because mine has been, as Billy would say, I proved to myself I can.
Absolutely. And that's a mindset I feel like, everyone should really be able to take away from, these students should be able to take away from today. And the final question from the students, I think this is something that, we've definitely been wondering, and something I've wondered myself also. And we've been talking today about not having that tunnel vision. So to both of you, if athletics would not have ended up working out, what did you want to be? What was your planned career if, athletics wasn't going to be, what were you going to do?
I guess I'll lead this off, and I think Emmitt's smiling like I am. So I was a religious studies major at UVA, and everybody's like, Billy, what are you going to be, a preacher? I was like, I guess I am. But no, I think it would always been something dealing with people, helping people. And if preacher or a minister or something was in that line, I think I would have took that line because, uplifting people and making sure people are on the up and up. And if I could say one thing to you that can change the trajectory of your life, I feel like I'm accomplished for that day or for that week or for that year. So I think it would have been somewhere on the stage sharing a message, which I do now anyway. But at the same time, I think I probably would have had a congregation, maybe, on Sundays, who knows?
Be truthful, you're already a minister. I mean,
you're right.
On stage, you're ministering to these young people. You're helping folks understand things about life. You're just doing it in a totally different way.
That's right.
Totally different way. And for me, I wanted to leave my hometown of Pensacola because everybody that left my hometown that came back, they were driving nice cars and everything else, had good jobs and all that stuff. I'm like, I want that. So if football would not have worked out, I think I'd have went into the military. I think I'd have went into the armed forces. I only saw two pathways out. And one wasn't necessarily college because I knew my family couldn't necessarily afford it. So I would have had to go through the military route to probably get a GI Bill to do anything else that I wanted to do. But for the most part, that was it. That was it. That was I was going to get it. And when I got to high school, and the way I performed in high school gave me a clear pathway that this is an opportunity for me to go to college. And that's when things shifted. But prior to that, it was like, hey, I think I'm gonna go in the military. I started thinking about it then. My cousin was in the military. Guy across the street, across a fence from me was in the military. He was in the Marines. My cousin was in the Army. And these are two people that I looked up to.
Absolutely. No, thank you guys so much. And that is the last question from the students, but I just wanted to personally say, you know, how much of an honor it is to have you guys on here. Thank you so much for everything you're doing and your leadership in our community as well. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to our moderator, Mr. Mark James, or Coach Dr. Mark James, as well as Lisa, just to kind of close off. And again, thank you guys so much. And I hope all of our students really took away a lot from today. This is an incredible opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, so,
Go ahead, Lisa. Go ahead.
okay. Oh, no, it's fine.
You're more beautiful than I am. Go ahead.
Well, I just had wanted to say thank you to everyone for being here, and that we are gladiators. We are gladiators, and discover your talents. We are so excited. All of the students are here and participating with us, and embrace your imperfections. Some takeaways tonight, and learn and grow from them. And remember, perfect's boring. Don't worry, take responsibility. You are enough just how you are right now. And you have vision and ability to create that future of your dreams. So we're so glad, and thank you everyone that spoke, because these were the messages that were portrayed. And thank you to Cordish for initiating this wonderful team, this wonderful message, culminating this evening and working together. We are doing good.
Lisa, thank you for thanking everybody. So what I'll do is I'll leave you guys with a message before we close. I was thinking while the bishop was speaking, Bishop Smith was speaking, about a Greek philosopher named Plato. And Plato wrote a story called The Allegory of the Cave. And this is what happened today. And young people, I want you guys to understand, what happened today was beautiful. It was the dissemination, the giving of knowledge, free giving of knowledge. And it's up to us to be able to accept it. So let me tell you a little bit about the allegory of the cave. Here's these three guys, and they're born in a cave. They're chained together by the neck, by the feet, and all they can see is a reflection of the wall. Obviously, there's a fire, illuminating fire behind them. And all they can see from birth all the way to, let's say, about 20 is a reflection of the wall. So everything they know is gathered based on what they see. One day, one of them got tired. He said, you know what, man, it's time for me to get out of here. So he pulls himself off, takes the chain, and guess what he does? He goes outside. He feels the warmth of the sun on his face. He looks at the greenness of the grass. He looks at the beauty of the birds flying around. He decides to go back inside the cave and free mentally the people that were inside, still chained up. And he said, look, man, I got the answer. I seen it. I experienced it. We are free. They turned to him and they said, get out of here. You're no longer our brother. We don't understand what you're talking about. He turned around and left the cave. Here's the simplicity of that complex message. Every time we get an opportunity to listen to wisdom, illumination, and light, take advantage of it. Store it in your mainframe of your spirit. This was a unique situation to learn from men that did great things, but guess what? What they're doing now is greater than what they have done, because they're showing that they never had tunnel vision. They believed in somebody that nobody else did. they bet on themselves. We thank you for coming today. We thank everybody. Billy, Bishop, we thank Bruce. We thank the whole panel for coming together today and working real hard. The Cordish family, Zed, Carrie, everybody involved. And young people, thank you for being patient with us. Sometimes we could be a little long-winded. And I'd like to finish with this. I want to let you know a secret. Here's the secret. We love you, and there's nothing you could do about it but love us back. We thank you for coming here today and sharing with us, NFL Hall of Famers, but most of all, men, true men. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
guys so much.
Emmitt, Billy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe, Zed, Larry. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Lisa.
you, guys.
All right.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk to you soon.
Bye.